Yoni borong tu mai na radio Fiji 1 to toka tunan raki na ngona ni ko ni takini yoni nando tu mai nanda ngonongo me do ben na ruana no binga rabi na singale ni ko. Ni sangula vinaka oya wana kamana langi na makia na vi mataka mai na diwa kina rua na vi singale mai na moni tikina borong buka na radio Fiji 1 nando mai biti bonga ni vi ni anu.
In this bulletin, man in police custody after stabbing wife and mother-in-law to death. National Federation Party calls on government to reveal financial standing. And PDP leader Felix Anthony denies reports he received $160,000 in allowances while on FMPF board. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. A 16-year-old student who tried to protect his aunt and his grandmother, who were being attacked, has been admitted at the hospital in Vunise, Kandavu from injuries he sustained. His aunt Eleanor Wangaiveve and grandmother Salaseni Komayasi of Mamwana died from stab wounds in the attack yesterday. The injured student's uncle, 41-year-old Sitiveni Ngio, is being held in custody at the Vunise police station. Police say the attacks took place following an argument between the suspect and his mother-in-law. Investigators from Suva will be travelling to Kandavu to question the suspect. Authorities are closely monitoring Fijian police officers in Liberia, West Africa, where there has been an outbreak of the Ebola virus. Police Chief of Operations ACP Rusiate Tundravu says all 27 officers are currently safe. He adds the UN has a contingency plan should anything develop. The police officers are part of a UN mission in Liberia based in the capital, Monrovia. The World Health Organization says the world's worst outbreak of Ebola will likely continue for months as the region's healthcare system struggle to cope. It has appealed for funding and emergency medical staff. Registered voters have another 9 days to verify the details of their polling venue. Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem says after the 20th, they cannot make any changes to where they will vote, as voter rolls will be going to print.
In the 2014 general election, a voter can only vote at a polling station he or she has been assigned to. Each polling station will have a total number of assigned voters of up to 500. Now, it is critical that everybody understands where they are to vote.
Registered voters can check the details of their registration and make changes at any of the 18 information centres. They will need to fill in appropriate forms to make changes, but only until the 20th. Prime Minister and Fiji First Leader Vorengem Bainimarama says he will accept the results of the 17 September general election. Bainimarama told New Zealand's Radio Tarana his government's objective has always been to return Fiji to democracy. And in a political rally in Auckland over the weekend, Bainimarama was asked whether he could guarantee that there would be no coup after the September 17th election.
Yeah, give us some assurance that there won't be any coup. We have seen 3-4 times Fiji being battered, and the Indo-Fiji is taking the brunt of that thing. Huh? All right? The Indo-Fiji is taking all the brunt of that coup. It was all against the race. What is the guarantee? While I'm very much happy that your government has come up with that constitution, what is the guarantee that it will not happen again?
You vote me into Parliament, there'll be no coup.
The Prime Minister returned to the country today after a 3-day visit to New Zealand, his first in 8 years. The National Federation Party is calling on the government to reveal its financial standing if they cannot release the Auditor General's report. NFP leader Biman Prasad stated at his party campaign at Nawaidomba and Nandi that political parties need to know the current debt levels before next month's elections should a new government take over. Christopher Chand reports.
The government has promised to reveal the Auditor General's report in Parliament after the elections. But the NFP is asking questions about its financial well-being.
Again, I call upon the government अगर Auditor General's report, if they can't give the Auditor General's report, give us the state of the finances as of 30th June 2014. कि हमें ये बताओ कि 2000
Tell us from 2014 budget till 30th June how much revenue has been collected, how much are the expenses, and how was this money used? So that political party leaders who are preparing to go into the government in September, at least we should know what is the state of finances.
Prime Minister and Minister for Finance Vorengem Bainimarama is out of the country, and Acting Prime Minister Aya Syed Qayyum could not be reached for a comment. Prasad also hit out at the standard of our hospitals and health facilities during the meeting.
This Minister for Health, who's gonna come and ask you for your votes, has presided over one of the worst health services delivery in this country ever.
Dr. Neil Sharma did not wish to comment, saying that when the time is appropriate, he will issue a statement. The NFP leader also promised to look into the tourism industry.
The tourism industry, in my view, over the last 7 years, including Tourism Fiji, including our tourism offices outside the country, has been staffed with expatriates at the expense of our local people. I am not against expatriates coming and working here. We need them in many areas. We need their skills. We need the technical expertise.
The party is continuing its campaign around the country and will be at Lomawai in Singatoka tonight. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Still to come on FBC News, new party outlines plans to move Fiji forward.
तो आप हमें बता सकते हैं कि जो बलात्कार हो रही हैं इसको हम कैसे रोक सकते हैं? आप हमें अपनी राय दे सकते हैं श्रोताओं की जो आग लग रही है दोष किसका है? किसको हम दोष दे सकते हैं? इस पर हम किसको दोष दें? ड्राइवर्स को या फिर पुलिस को? नमस्ते फीजी, देश की धड़कन रेडियो फीजी 2 पर मैं मोहिनी। हमारे साथ में शामिल हो जाइएगा दृष्टिकोण प्रोग्राम में हर सोमवार से शुक्रवार तक रात 7 से 8 बजे तक दृष्टिकोण प्रोग्राम में।
Welcome back. This is FBC News. People's Democratic Party leader Felix Anthony has neither confirmed nor denied he collected about $160,000 in allowances as a member of the Fiji National Provident Fund Board. Ellen Stahls has more.
The Union Man, as he titles himself, appeared on FBCTV's For the Record program last night as leader of the People's Democratic Party.
You were on the FNPF board. Is it true that you made something around $160,000 while serving on these subcommittees and on the FNPF board?
Well, I don't recall the exact amounts made. I don't accept the word that you say we made $700 or $160,000. I think when you serve on boards, there are certain fees that are payable to board members, and we were paid exactly what board members all the time were being paid.
Felix Anthony says he was a worker representative who served on the FNPF board, adding he had no regrets for his service.
The Fiji National Provident Fund had a tripartite board which comprised of the workers' representatives, the employers' representatives, and government representatives, 2 of each. And the FNPF Act actually stipulated that.
Anthony says the entire members of the FNPF board, including himself, were removed due to disagreements.
We were asked to leave because there were certain disagreements in regards to the functioning of the FNPF, and more particularly FNPF funding the government deficits, budget deficits, which we were totally against. We made sure that FNPF was not going to be used as the government's bank entirely. So we took a position on that, and in fact it's not only me but the entire board was asked to leave.
Despite this, Anthony says he is not deterred and is confident that his chances of winning the general elections still remains strong. Ellen Stalls, FBC News.
The Fiji United Freedom Party today launched what they call a model manifesto. The party has proposed the idea to form a group called VT Holding that, according to party president Jagat Karunaratne, will resolve all the issues faced by Fijians. The group wants to establish a pseudo-Grey Council of Chiefs, which will be called the United Council of Saints, that will include members of all religious groups.
We already have people who are believing in this so much. So we already have candidates. And what we are waiting for is to see the acceptance when we say people, like even political parties, because they represent certain segment of the community. So we are looking at other political parties and other segments like other community leaders to comment on this.
The party also introduced its members who will hold key positions in VT Holding. The FUFP plans to include members from other parties who could hold one of 3 leadership positions in the party. A 5-day international convention is currently underway in Nadi. Post Fiji hopes it will help them be an efficient provider now and in the future. The Universal Postal Union Convention is dealing with various challenges that still hinders post office services. With participants coming in as far as Czechoslovakia, South Africa and India, Fiji hopes to learn from their experiences and apply to their business in the country and throughout the region. Post Fiji says Fijians need to be reassured that their postal service can be trusted.
Post Fiji is going through a transformational change over the last couple of years, and we are seeing the rewards of that in terms of our performance. But I think for the Fijian consumers, it's about reassuring that that the services that we provide are amongst the best in the world. It's also reassuring them that we are working closely with government to provide that support that's important for the everyday Fijian consumers, and most importantly, it helps to our bottom line in terms of operating an efficient company.
And Jamie joins you now with Monday Night Sports.
Thank you, Jackie, and good evening. Coming up in sports tonight, Team Fiji leaves for Youth Olympic Games and the Veto wins World Club Sevens tournament in Ireland. These stories and more after the break.
यू ट्रेंड से मिर्ची एफएम पर रफ्तार में मैं यहाँ आपके हम सफर साथी कृष्णील शामिल हो चुका हूँ और फिजी में विदेश में आप जहाँ कहीं पर भी हमें सुन रहे हैं, कृष्णील का प्यार आप तमाम दोस्तों तक पहुँचे। हेलो गाइस, मैं हूँ डीजे कृष्णील। आप हमें सुन सकते हैं मिर्ची एफएम रफ्तार में मंडे टू फ्राइडे शाम 3 से लेकर रात 7 तक हम आपको रॉक कराएंगे। मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट। अब दिल करता है हौले हौले से मैं तो खुद को गले लगाऊं।
Welcome back to FBC Sports. 26 athletes will fly the Fiji flag at the Youth Olympic Games in China. The Fiji contingent, which includes athletes in sevens rugby, girls hockey, athletics, swimming and weightlifting, flew out this morning on a medal quest against the best in the world. Chale Ndawdakadaka with more.
These young men and women are carrying the hopes of the nation at the Youth Olympic Games in China. The under-18 sevens side came through an unsettling period prior to departure, but officials believe the players will rise to the occasion during crunch time.
The tournament is also the first for the Olympics, and we want to be the first Fiji to earn the gold medal prior to the main one in 2016. Let's start with the Youth Olympics.
Hockey will be played in a 5-a-side format, and the national women's side is aiming for a podium finish.
Well, definitely any team that's going has that in mind. We'll take one step at a time. We're in a very tough pool, but if our sevens boys can do it, why can't we? This is the abbreviated code of hockey, so and the girls have really prepared well.
Most of these youngsters will get a taste of international competition for the very first time, but the experience is sure to rub off in the build-up to the Rio Olympics in 2016. FBC Sports.
With Nandraga already securing its spot for the Skipper Cup final, attention now turns to the second semi-final between Nandi and Naita Siri this Saturday. Nandi will have the odds stacked against them, but are ready to unleash their best game of the season. Indra Singh has more.
Full play there from Masanimburi, holds on to the ball. Travelling to an opponent's ground is always a tough ask, but this is not a deterrent for this Nandi team.
They've got the home ground advantage, but this is a playoff rugby. You just got to get in there and do your bit, and hopefully comes out.
The Jet Setters know they have not played to the best of their abilities this season, despite having made the cut for the last 4.
Defensively, we've got to work hard on our defense, and as they say, a good defensive team win tournaments, win championship. And that's one of our aims, to get up there and try and concentrate on our own game, dominate our set piece, and hopefully we come out on top.
Tanivula is a mastermind in preparing teams for Southern Death Games, having already led the likes of the National Sevens team in the past.
You got to match fire with fire, and that's the way it's got to be. You can't walk away from it. You just got to get in there and do all you can physically and try and outmuscle them.
Netasiri is also wary of Nandi but have one aim, and that is to play in the final.
The preparation is good, and the boys are looking at beating Nandi Zakumbo Park because we've been training from last week and this week also.
Based on the preparations being put in, it is sure expected to be champagne rugby. And it doesn't end here because it's just a start for the title, and both teams understand that fully. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, BLK Nandrunga has released its order of opponents for the HFC Fair Brother Challenges. Naita Siri gets the first challenge at Lawanga Park on the 30th of August, a week after the Skipper Cup final, which Nandrunga will also host. Northland and Suva will be next, while the B Division winner also gets a shot at the prestigious title. The Fiji National Rugby League is expected to name its national coach by the end of the week. 3 coaches, including 2 from Australia and 1 from England, have been shortlisted and will go through interviews over the next few days before a decision is made. The 3 shortlisted candidates are former national rep Wais Kativirata, John Harben and Shane Morris.
By Friday or Monday week, we shall announce the name, and then we'll take the names to the Fiji Sports Commission, and they have the final say to say yes, we will fund this man. And of course, the funds is just for the remaining of this year, and then it depends upon whatever government comes in. If they have the same type of financial support to the Sports Commission, then there will be a continuous support of the finance of the head coach of Fiji Mbati.
Meanwhile, former Mbati coach Rick Stone has been named the new head coach of the Newcastle Knights. Suva remains on top of the Fiji Sun Skipper-Tuna National Football League points table despite losing 2-1 to Nandrunga yesterday. The Whites have a 5-point lead over Mba and Nandi. Its 2-0 win over Nandi on Friday evening helping to cushion yesterday's loss. Suva has 27 points, while Mba, which lost to Rewa 1-0, is second on 22 points. Nandi remains third with 22 points as well, while Navo is still at the bottom on the table with 5 points. The league takes a break from this week for the Ink Mobile Battle of the Giants that starts next weekend. That was your sports for tonight. It's back to Jackie now with business.
The Pacific Islands Private Sector Organization has identified some areas in the country in need of expansion to increase exports. This is through a pilot program called the Regional Cluster Initiative in the Pacific. Akosita Tale has more.
The Regional Cluster Initiative allows better management of various goods produced in Fiji to increase export capabilities. This program has been implemented in Samoa, Vanuatu, Tonga and Papua New Guinea and will soon include Fiji. PIPSO says this will be a bigger advantage to small business groups.
If you look in Fiji, there's a lot of women group that are producing coconut virgin oil. Question is, where are their products? Where are they being sold? Now, if you look at a cluster approach, we receive a lot of requests from overseas company interested, in importing.
With increasing interest from overseas for local products, there is a need for these small groups and small businesses to export in large quantities.
It requires the women from a number of islands in that province to be sending coconut oil, and that is required on a monthly basis. So there's a huge capacity in that regard. So it's not about working in small setting. It's about bringing it together so that we be able to meet the demand that is required by overseas buyers.
PIPSO says that a lot of Fiji's products are being exported, but most of this is within the Pacific region. However, PIPSO feels cooperation can increase exports to other major markets.
And one of the things is to grow the capacity to export. And when you're exporting, it requires a big volume. And when you're talking about big volume, if they can't meet it, then they can work in collaboration with their own competitor to come together and then to export so that they can meet their demand. And so this is all what the cluster approach is all about.
The Pacific Islands private sector organization says that while they wait for Fiji and the Solomon Islands to elect governments, it has identified few areas in these countries where potential clusters are possible to take place. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
The time now with Trish.
Thanks, Jackie. Looking at today's map, most of the country had cloudy skies and scattered showers throughout the day. It was also on the cool side. Temperatures today, Suva and Sabu were the coolest at 25, Nani 29, Lotoka 28, Ba 29, and Lambasa hit 31. Tuesday's forecast, Suva and Sabu can expect much the same as today, with occasional showers in the morning and the afternoon, whereas the rest of the centers will have partly cloudy skies. For mariners, a strong wind warning remains in force for all Fiji waters. Southeast winds 20 to 25 knots, easing 50 to 20 knots later. Picture of the day, this magnificent shot from the famous island of Nukulau by FBC's very own Sala Blake.
Thanks so much for that, Trish. Recapping our top stories tonight. Man in police custody after stabbing wife and mother-in-law to death. National Federation Party calls on government to reveal financial standing. And PDP leader Felix Anthony denies reports he received $160,000 in allowances while on FNPF board. Time now for our Fijian Speak segment. The question this week, what type of Fiji would you like to see after the elections?
Something good for everybody, equal rights to everybody, education, medical, equal rights to everybody.
I would like to see a Fiji that fosters equality for all people, irrespective of races, gender or creed, taking into consideration the plight of the poor and also those that live in rural and remote villages.
To see a Fiji that all races can live together in peace and harmony, that's all we want to see.
Right now our school has there's no electricity in our school, and I want to see a government that could help rural school like ours.
You can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. And to receive the latest headlines on your mobile phone, text subspace FBC to 777. That's all from us tonight. Good evening.
How are you doing, Fiji? Yes, indeed, fast approaching, well, the major bulletin. But before we even talk about the major bulletin, what about my little news flash?
Oh my gosh, please don't let him get me started on that again.
Getting on the bus yesterday, and then he tells me, brother, move on to the other seat, because we can fit two people where you're sitting.
Hey, you can't blame the dude for being honest, okay?
There was nothing honest about what he said. Hi, I'm Pibil.
And I'm Fina,
Your daybreak duo on Gold FM. From Mondays to Fridays.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Turn us on.
We're doing it.